I'll say about 3 tablespoons of curry powder. We'll put the curry powder. This is what we call burning off the curry powder. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today is Saturday night. I'm gonna be prepping some curry mutton, which I've got here in the bowl for tomorrow. It's gonna be a banging dinner. I'm gonna just basically have this with boiled rice, something nice and light. So now, for the curry mutton, I'm gonna start. I've got some garlic. I've got 3 cloves of garlic here. I've got about an inch's worth of ginger, basically diced in small pieces, as you can see. I've got 1 whole Scotch bonnet in here, cut up. I've left the seeds in it because I wanted to have a pow with the chili. We've got some pepper, that's peppercorn grinded. We've got some salt. Then we've got some pimento, well, allspice, pimento, same thing. We've got some of the green, some of the pimento whole. Then we've got some pimento powder, so I'm putting a bit of both of that in there, just to make sure it marinates in the meat and you got that flavour going on. This is 1.5 onions that I'm gonna put in here. I've got a nice, very nice handful of scallions, spring onions for some of you as well, and got a nice handful of thyme. Got curry powder. The curry powder I'm actually using is Mr. Brown's. There's another curry powder that I would have recommended to mix it half and half with. I weren't able to get it in the shop. The other one's actually one of the official one from Jamaica. I'm gonna put it in the clip so you lot can see what I'm talking about. But if you do find it, I'd say do 50-50 of both. It's more of a yellowy curry powder, but if you know, you know. If not, go in any Caribbean store or in a lot of like the Indian stores, and the most likely will have it. Gonna put this in here. The salt, the pepper, the pimento, allspice for some of you lot. Just put that in there. Now some of the wet seasoning. Put this in there. I know some people might use bell peppers in the recipe. I've seen people use bell peppers to make curry good. I've seen people put carrots in it. Guys, if you want to do that, do that. That's your preference. But this is how I'm banging it out and what I'm doing. I'm going to put some of the thyme, but the way I'm going to do it, I'm going to break it off a bit. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to use, I'll say about 3 tablespoons of curry powder. When I say 3 tablespoons, I'm putting a tablespoon like that, so some people might say, oh, that's about 4. Got 3 tablespoons of oil in here, so just going to pop that in. Before we put the mutton in here, we're going to do something what you call burning the curry powder. That's just so it makes your belly not run and all of that, but you've got other things that it enhances the flavour and it brings out the natural oils in the ingredients. So while that's heating up, we're going to put 1/4 of an onion in here. We're going to put 1/2 teaspoon of garlic, which I've mashed down into a paste, and we're going to put around between half to 1 tablespoon of curry powder. Just now you can put the onions in there. Put the garlic in here. We'll put the curry powder. This is what we call burning off the curry powder. It's just a saying, so you're not literally going to burn it, you're just going to cook it in the oil you put in. Look at that. So now we're going to put in some of the mutton. Be careful how you put this in, because it can splash everywhere at times, and you don't want all splashing everywhere on you. We're going to do this for about a minute, and then, well, 1 to 2 minutes, and then what we're going to do is cover it with the lid for a couple of minutes, just so the steam will reduce water and liquid from the meats, so it doesn't start burning too much at the bottom. Alright, now guys, what we're gonna do now, we're gonna cover this for about 2 to 3 minutes. Let the steam bring the water moisture in here. I might add some water to here depending how much liquid is to let out for the curry. So if it hasn't let out a lot of water, I am going to add some up to cook it, because obviously you can cook this in a pressure cooker, but I'd also recommend, if you got a Dutch pot, just cook it in a Dutch pot, give it the time and let it cook. Some people might take it out, put it in a pressure cooker, or you can cook it in the pressure cooker on its own. I will do that at another time, and I'll be putting different ingredients in it. I'll be adding some carrots, some potato in that, and probably some bell peppers. But you do have different ways where you can do curry mutton. Alright guys, this has been on here for about 2 minutes roughly. I'm going to get another plate to put this lid on, because, and be careful, these Dutch pot hot, mate. As you can see, all the steam on here just lets off a lot of water in here. So what you want to do now, look at that. Obviously it's not cooked yet, but can you see the difference in the colour from how the meat looked before? Alright guys, that's been on there for about another 3 to 4 minutes. Look at the, oh, look at that, look at that. Now what I'm going to do, one, about 4 or 5 of these. We're not going to use this again now because there was raw meat in that, so we're going to put that out of the way. So if we do add water for any reason, we're going to add some clean, fresh water. So you just don't want to be adding water near the end and then that's got raw meat in it. We're going to cover this back up. So again, one last look. While this is getting done, we're going to sort out the rice. Basically the curry mutton's been cooking for about 50 minutes now. About 20 to 25 minutes ago I did open the pot up, stir it around, and I added about 100 mils of water in it, and I've stirred it, and it's been on low fire for the last basically 30 minutes. Just show you what it's looking at right now. So that's it. I'm gonna get a plate so you guys can see up close. Tell me that doesn't look wicked. And of course, oh look at this, man. Now, what you've got to do at this point, this is a crucial moment where you taste it. Hold on. Now what you got to do at this point, this is a crucial moment where you taste it, because if too much of the water has evaporated and there's not a lot of liquid, there's a good chance your curry will be salty. And that's where you're just gonna have to, well, all you can really do is add water to it. So I would recommend after your curry being on the fire for 30 minutes, because you would know then the meat would have cooked. You taste the curry and you see if the sauce is a bit salty. If it's a tiny bit salty, you add a bit of water, vice versa. If you think it needs a bit of salt, don't add a bit of salt. You can let the water cook out a bit to the right thickness. If you like the thickness of the sauce and you think it's got the right amount of liquid in, then obviously that's where you're gonna add salt. Now look at the sauce. Perfect. Do you know when it doesn't look oily? So now I'm gonna try this sauce. Yeah. Oh, perfect. Yep. That's perfect. So now we need to try a bit of the meat. So what I'm gonna do, okay, that weren't too hard to break off. So we're gonna taste a bit of the meat. Oh, wicked. I'm gonna taste another bit of this pot. You know where you just want to make sure. Now this is the thing, when you cook it in the Dutch pot and you don't cook it in a pressure cooker, you've got that thing where you have to taste the meat. Right guys, I've just dished the food up. This is a curry mutton, as you can see. Yeah, I've tasted it, tastes wicked. Got a little mixed salad to go with it. Yeah, follow the recipe, let me know what you think, and don't forget, subscribe to the channel, like and share.